cloud. And welcome everyone to Daven for a Friend, How to Deepen Your Relationships. We're opening up with our dear friend, Hannah Crystal. Off you go, Hannah.
Hi, everyone. Rivka Malka, that was pretty amazing that you were sharing the song Kikaro, because that's exactly what I'm sharing today.
Oh, could you translate?
Sure. So I'll just go right in. So this is actually a message that I've really been trying to live by. And there's a pasuk in Devarim, chapter 30, sentence 11, Yud Aleph, that says, Kikarov elecha, ki המצווה הזאת אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לא נפלטהו ממך לא רחוק הוא. For this commandment which I commanded you on this day is not concealed from you, and it's not far away. And then the next two pasukim go on and say, it's not in the heavens, it's not deep in the sea. And then sentence 14 says, Ki karov elecha davar ma'od beficha ulevavcha lasoso. Lasos. Rather, this thing is very close to you. It's in your mouth, it's in your heart, so that you could fulfill it. And this is a pasuk I've been saying over and over and over again these past 2 weeks. I don't even know how it got in my head, but it did. And it's just really a message that I've been trying to live by. And the message to me is that we don't need to reach far out for the resources and the change that we want to see in our life. We're sitting on it. We're sitting in it. And the message that I've been trying to live is not about reaching outward, but rather tuning inward. And it's been a very empowering message for me, because there's so many things in my life that I want to change, and I want to see growth in, and I want, we've been talking about teshuva me'ahava, doing change from love, and it could feel really, really overwhelming. Like, I don't have all the resources. I don't know how to do this, and I'm listening to this and this person, or I'm watching this and this person do it so well, and I don't think I could do it like that. I don't know how to do it like that. And then just reminding myself, this thing is right here. It's in your mouth, it's in your heart. And I don't need to know the path. I don't need to know the way. I don't need to have everything figured out. Just the simple yearning is good enough. And Hashem will give me the pieces along the way. And just taking a simple action, or just a simple step, or just acknowledging the simple yearning is the pathway. And it's right here. I don't need to know the way. I don't need to know how I'm going to do it or figure it out. It's right here. And I'll give you 2 examples from this week that I really saw this, this mindset coming through. For the longest time, I've been telling myself I'm going to have this exercise routine, and I've been telling myself all these things why I can't do it right now. I don't have a place. I want to join a dance class. I want to do something specific. And then literally yesterday, I was like, wait, I could just do jumping jacks in my room. And that's what I did. And it was so fun and so empowering. And I was like, oh, I'm exercising. This is great. Mm-hmm. And maybe later Hashem will open up a class for me to join, or give me another resource, but I want to exercise, and I'm doing it. It's kikaro velecha. It's right here. Another example, I was talking to somebody last night, and she was just saying how she feels really stuck in her life. And she was saying, she's like, I want to daven that I could daven. Like, I feel just so distant, but I just can't do it. I was like, you already did. You just did it. You just daven that you could daven. You already did it. And we tend to complicate, we tend to overanalyze, we tend to put the change that we want outside of ourselves, somehow that feels safer. But when we're able to realize it's right here, it's right here, it's right with us, it's right here, and we just being that's what I've been living into, and that's what I want to offer here, especially in the the start of this class, which is we talk about so many high things. And sometimes it could feel overwhelming. How do I work on my anger? How am I going to ever get there? It's close to you. It's right here. It's right here. And your journey and your path is going to be your own. And my tefillah for the beginning of this class is, may Hashem allow us to step into the reservoir of strength and calm and serenity we have within us. And may we tune into the place of being instead of this place of trying, because we already are what we want to be.
Wow. I'm drinking in your words, Chana, as usual. You just bring a sigh of relief to the world. And yeah, we're really in sync. I never play that song, and that song just came out so really in sync. Clearly Hashem is orchestrating this. And the word that I put together with Kikaro Velecha, this thing is close to you, is the word ease. To be in ease with the process, to be at ease. And you're right, Hannah, we've been talking a lot about very hard work. And it's important. The hard work is important, and it must be balanced with a sense of being, of you're already it, it's already here. All the resistance is like an old story, an old fear layered on a new experience. So it comes up a feeling like I want to exercise, and the old fears come flooding back in, which is the Yetzer Hara. It's never going to work, and it's so hard, and you tried it before, and you always start things and you never continue them, etc., etc. And yet, if we're just at ease, like it's right here, I'll just try a little bit. I'll experiment. Life is an experiment. I'll do a little bit. I'll gain a small victory. I'll allow myself to be that which I want to be. It all flows much more sweetly with the allowing. Allowing is a very geuludic word. It means that Hashem is pouring down all the possibilities all the time. And we are pasecha sidecha. We are just opening our arms to receive. We're allowing all the blessings to come in. So I'm not home today. You could see I'm out of town. It's at a lovely hotel room. And it's very interesting. I'm in a very ease kind of place. And I have a job today. The job is to give over part 2 of anger and boundaries, which seems like such a funny thing when we're talking about ease. Those are 2 kind of hardcore topics, you know. So I want to come at it from a place of ease, from a place, more importantly, of love. That a boundary, as we usually think of it, because we've been hurt or because we are so confused, a boundary usually in our mind translates as I have to say no. You know, this is my limit. I cannot do this. Or I have to say no, this is my limit. Or I have to set a boundary for myself. I cannot eat more. It's very much focused on the no. But what we understand from the mitzvah of nida, which I'll explain in a minute, is that a boundary actually is there to maintain what is precious. There's something precious here that wants to be protected. And in order for it to be protected, it must have a boundary around it. The mitzvah of nida is how a Torah home runs in terms of the husband and wife connecting to each other. So there's parts of the month where they connect each other all the way, physically, emotionally, spiritually. There's parts of the month where they leave out the physical. They put a boundary around the relationship as if Hashem is telling us, I want you to maintain the integrity of this preciousness, to not get lost just in the physical, to have room to see yourself, to see the other, not only to be with the other. So here we're going to make a boundary. I'm going to enforce a boundary. And all of our mitzvahs are really like that. They really set guidelines. Here we go, here we don't go, in order to protect what is precious. You know, when my daughter, I don't let her go walking downtown in the middle of the night on a dangerous street. It's not because I delight in saying no. It's because she is very precious and she deserves care. She deserves to be taken care of. So today we're going to learn about boundaries. And I believe that boundaries are one of the highest up topics, really, really, really high. And therefore, we're going to learn about it in a very practical way. Okay. It is so high because the first thing that Hashem did is he separated heaven and earth. Do you think, this is how I understand it, do you think that Hashem, who made us, doesn't want to spend every second completely enmeshed, visible, known to us in every second? Like, he made us because he loves us. But what's the first act of love that he does? He split Shemayim and Aretz. He said, my first act of love for you is that I'm going to allow a space of differentiation. You are going to have an experience of being yourself so that you could come close and know me. When we die, no more boundaries. Now we're back in with Hashem. The space of the boundary means I love you so much. I want you to be able to have this space to receive my love. I want you to know yourself. It's literally the most loving thing. So when we understand how loving, how much a boundary preserves a relationship, how much differentiating ourselves from the other preserves a relationship, it becomes very, very holy and special and not hard. For me, right now, after many, many years of work, there's a sense of ease and delight when I make a boundary with someone. I know that I'm honoring the relationship, right? I know it feels so good. Now it's sustainable. Now it's not, or when I create a boundary about what I can and can't do, I know I'm maintaining the relationship because now I'm not in resentment. It's just so beautiful. So because I want to give this over in a very practical way, I am going to pull from the beautiful work of Siva Greenberger. Siva is a teacher in our school. And in her inner child module, there is a place where she talks about boundaries. And she did a beautiful, beautiful job breaking it down to our real daily life. And I'm going to be pulling up that document, and I'm literally going to be sharing with you in a very practical way. And the heart of the boundary issue is that we're all learning how to love. That's the heart of it. We're just learning how to love ourselves, how to love another. What is healthy love? And I believe, this is my new theory, that one of our goals in life is to find the one perfect love. If we could learn to love perfectly, which means I am here and you are here and Hashem is here, and there's a giving and it's a perfect love. It doesn't tug me away from myself. It's just so, I have a lot to say about the one perfect love. But anyway, if we could learn it with even one person, even if that person is ourself, we could love ourselves perfectly, like with beautiful health. If we could love Hashem perfectly, then it cascades out. And I spoke to my friend Silky Resnikoff. I said, I'm getting this idea about the one perfect love. What do you have to say about this idea? And she said, yeah, here's how I understand it in psychological terms. I forgot her terms right now. But essentially, in the nervous system, there's a state of trauma where everything is very hyper aroused. And then there's a state of trauma where everything is numbed out. And then there's a state of well-being. It starts with the V, if anyone knows, otherwise I'll look it up. Something with a V. And this is like a state of well-being. And so when I'm in this state of ease, of well-being, of understanding, I am I, you are you, we're in a state of love with the universe, with Hashem. Yay, somebody knows it's the ventral vagal. Yay, Rachel. Yay, exactly. Do you want to unmute yourself and talk about it? Because we'd love to hear. That would bring down the concept of the one perfect love beautifully, if you want. I'll give you a minute just to see if you want to say anything about that. We'd love the psychologist. Yes, darling? No, darling. Okay.
I should explain?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, in our nervous system, there are 3 basic states that we are in at any like set time. And sometimes there's actually times when we could be like in a combination of both. So we can be in ventral vagal. The second one is sympathetic nervous system. And the third one is dorsal vagal. It's basically the vagus nerve is a part of our nervous system that controls our heartbeat, basically our body functions, and our ability to fight or flight, like fight, flight, or freeze. So where are you going with this? Like, what can I explain?
When you're in a state of well-being, what is that called?
That's called ventral vagal.
Ventral vagal. And what are you aware of in the ventral vagal state?
There's something called the social engagement system, which is basically when we can connect to other people. It's a feeling of safety with ourselves and with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like an expert on this. This is just a training that I took recently, so it's like on my mind a lot.
Yeah.
And it's basically it's the place where we are in ourself, where we're wired for connection with other people and with ourselves.
Yay! That was exactly as much information as we needed. That's what we're looking towards. So as we are learning that space, as we're getting more safe with ourselves and with others, it's a good thing to clarify what a good boundary looks like so that we can get closer to that state. Okay, you guys ready to jump in? Take notes if you want. I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading, a little bit of ad-libbing, etc. Okay? And thank you for Tsiva. She doesn't even know that I'm giving this over here. I can't wait to tell her. So we'll begin with 5 basic explanations of what it means to have healthy boundaries. First of all, having boundaries means honoring ourselves as a separate individual with needs and wants that often differ from others. So I want you, when I give this information, when I give any information, my hope is that you'll almost let my words roll through you. I'm not a textbook. I'm words from the heart, and zone in, like listen to your heart. What is here for me in my life? Am I really cool with that? That I have needs that are different than other people, or do I shame myself, blame myself, look to other people to understand my needs, etc.? Just listen into your own experience. Let yourself take notes in class about yourself, okay? Boundaries, here's the second thing. Boundaries are an external expression of an internal self-affirmation, which means knowing and affirming what is important to us. That's right. You get to know what's important to me. Here's what and it's going to be different than what's important to other people. That's okay. It's an act of self-love and self-affirmation. Number 3, defining boundaries is the process of determining what behavior you will accept from others and what you will not. Boundaries include physical boundaries as well as emotional boundaries. Physical boundaries include your body, personal space, and privacy. Okay. When we talk about what behavior you will accept, notice that language, because to me, when I hear that language, I hear almost hands on the hips, like I will not accept this. And what I have found is that it's not necessary. When you won't accept a behavior, it's as simple as saying like, I can't be in a conversation in this tone, or I can't be in the room right now, or, I can't respond in this moment, or it's ease. It's from love for self and love for the integrity of the relationship. I think this whole thing about like, I cannot accept it is, it destroys. We want to build a beautiful fence around ourselves, beautiful fence of safety. Healthy boundaries, number 4, healthy boundaries define who we are in relation to others. They also help us to know what the extents and limits are within ourselves and others. Setting healthy boundaries allows us to connect with ourselves, our emotions, and our needs. It allows us to feel safe, to relax, and to feel empowered to care for ourselves. Okay. So you're an actual human being, even though we're in this angelic process of raising our vibration to, to love, to alignment. Hashem made us human. And to be human means to have limits. And it is not enough to love others and to want to support others and give to others. And it is not enough to love Hashem and to want to give to Hashem. There's something that Hashem wants, which is for us to connect with ourselves, to be a self. It's that self that is going to be moving in the world. Hashem wants us to be a self. What does the self want and need? And when we are taken care of, then we can relax. My mother is a great example of this because she, in the morning when she gets up, this is for decades, she'll turn on her classical music and she will do what she calls putter, which she does. She's not a putterer, she's a giver, but she moves in her own space in her room. Way before she's getting dressed and coming downstairs, she takes a lot of phone calls from people who are in need or various crises that she's managing, but she does not come down. This is for years until she's good and ready. She's like, I've been in my office, and then she comes down. And for her, for that, and this is even if she'll come to visit, she's not putting on herself, oh, Rivka Malka needs XYZ, I better be up at 8 a.m. She's always, it's like she's been a wonderful example of there's a whole self, and this self needs a whole lot of things, and I'm going to make myself a well-watered tree so that I can then give and nourish. So as far as I see myself and human beings, we need a lot of nourishing, especially women. Okay, when we have healthy boundaries, this is number 5, our last piece. When we have healthy boundaries, we learn to be mindful and respectful of other people's limitations, and we can honor and respect the boundaries that people put into place with us. So one really rough spot in relationships is that we naturally project our experience of life onto other people. Well, I could do this. Why can't you do this? I'm so understanding. Why can't you be understanding? I'm so giving. Why can't you be so giving? I don't care about it, right? I wouldn't answer like this. Why are you answering like this? As if it's like a trick. It's just one of the difficult tricks of being alive is that we only see life through our own experience. So it's an actual training, I have found. It's a training to fully and deeply understand that what goes on in me is literally mine and nobody else's. And I cannot project that my experience, my limitations, my delights, my anything is true for you. To give this kavod that your life experience is an entirely different recipe, and to be respectful of that. And one of the ways that this has shown up for me, and I think my friend Sephora Harris, who gave me a good training on this, because this is one of her like 10 top teachings. So, you know, and being friends with her, I've gotten to hear this again and again, is when I share things, to share them as what's true for me. Because I don't know if anyone else out there is a big personality, my natural space is to share it as like, this is what we need, this is the truth, this is how to be. And that's actually not true. What's true is that this is my experience. Maybe my experience will help you, maybe it won't help you. But I'm not anymore gonna like throw my truth onto another person. Hashem has a special stream for every single person. And there's like a respect around that. You know, for example, I spoke about this yesterday in school. Someone may need to be in mourning about a specific situation for 20 years. It may take them 20 years to heal. You may be a type to heal faster, or the opposite. You may take 20 years to heal and you judge the other person that why are you healing so quickly? It must not be healing, right? These are judgments that come up when we don't have that boundary of really understanding that I do things the way that Hashem wired me. Hashem wired you a different way. Very, very critical for shalom bayis. Very critical for marriage and all relationships where we have this human expectation that Hashem asks us to overcome, which is that how I work is how you work, or you'll get how I work, or no. The work is to have a boundary, to hold, to honor my own experience, and to honor that you're having a different experience. Okay. We continue on with Siva's beautiful work. She says, one critical point I want to make here is that in order to set healthy boundaries and to have them be effective, we have to have clarity on what it is that we want. So this happens a lot. It's like, I really need you to be nicer to me. I really need you to talk, right? Or I can't, you can't ask me this all the time. It's too much for me. These are very, very fuzzy boundaries, and they don't help anyone. They're not clear. And the truth of the matter is that human beings are wonderful people, and we need clear instruction in order to be able to be our best giver. Everybody wants to be a giver. A clear instruction allows someone to give you exactly what you want with no ambiguity. So the first step is to have clarity on what is it that we need, what's our limit, what works for us, what doesn't work for us. And we got to tune into ourselves, maybe to have a friend, maybe write it out, because sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we want everything. we want someone to be or do everything in the perfect way. Well, let's get some clarity on what it is that we really, really need from this other person. And we may find that what we need from someone is much more than they can possibly give. Because another human thing that we do is that we long for Hashem. Hashem is our knight in shining armor, and he's the most understanding, and he thinks we're radiantly gorgeous, and he fills in with whatever we need, whatever mood we're in, he's cool with. He's there to protect and provide. He's everything. And in the space of some part of our soul knowing that there is an everything for us, we sometimes could want a person to be everything. For example, a husband, for example, a friend. Can't you be the perfect man? Can't you be the perfect friend? In other words, can't you fill in all those blanks that I'm longing for? No, they cannot. They are a human being. You are a human being. We're the children. Hashem is the parent. Hashem is the everything. So it's a big, big mind shift to really settle in. This is a massive part of settling into life. And we're going to talk about this more when we get into talking about femininity in the coming weeks. Massive part of life is settling into Hashem is the everything, and we are the children. Just settle in. We're the imperfect humans, and there's nobody who's going to be able to fill the whole thing. So when we settle into that, we got to clarify our what we want from someone else, and we may find that what we want from them is not even possible. But if we can get it down to what we really do want, then it's time to express it. And when we express it, we want to express it gently and clearly, and without enormous explanation, because there is nothing to apologize for. Nothing to apologize for needing to set a boundary. You're just taking care of yourself, taking care of the relationship. So gently, practice speaking gently. Maybe some of you are naturally gentle. As you know, I've worked on being gentle, and I just find that it is worth it. It is so worth it to learn a new tone. I like to do yoga on YouTube with this woman, and then I found out that she used to be an actress. She was in acting school. So I'm like, oh, no wonder her tone is so soothing. She's literally moderating her tone. Put your arms up, twist gently, Today's going to be an amazing day, she says, because she's learned the power of voice. And even Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to the women differently, to speak to the softness in the other person. And we want to come in with softness and clarity. So think about that. How can you be gentle? My friend likes to put it as firm and friendly. I like to put it as friendly and firm. Or if it's clear, does it really need to be firm? It has to be firm in your heart that this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. And think now about a boundary that you need to set. Something as simple as dishes, something as complicated as ways that people talk. Okay. So we continue on. Let's just take that point very, very well. My daughter just had a situation where she needed clarity with the boss. She felt that the boss, it needed some help. And she was very distressed about it. She almost wanted to quit her job. And she's like, I can't, it's too much. No, I have to tell the boss, et cetera, et cetera. And it was like a big drasha. And after we spoke it through, I was like, look, it's really just 2 sentences, because when you give so much explanation, you're actually putting the burden on the other to understand all of you. And it's not their business to understand. You're just asking them for specific behavior. And so she said to me, but like, wouldn't they want to know why? I said, yes. If it is someone who is beloved and or intimate in your life, then when you tell them why this is important to you, it draws them closer. And that's really wonderful, to let someone get to know you and why this boundary is so, so meaningful to you and so helpful to you. But when it's just, the teacher, the baker, I don't know, whoever else it is, keep it short and firm and friendly. This is how I work. Otherwise, it's literally making an emotional bid for the other person to carry something that is yours to carry, not theirs. I'm going to take a break just to see. Miriam Chai, could you make sure to please, I'm going to also make, Hannah, I'm also going to make you a co-host. So that some people are, whoever Miriam Chai can't get, then you can get them. Hang on 1 second. There you go. Between the both of you, we're going to do it. Okay. Yay. We continue on. Okay. She says, I'm constantly working on polishing up my skills and boundary settings, and I learn new things every day. And you know why it's so hard? Because I'm really, really sensitive, and I think we all are, to the other person. People aren't always pleased with the boundary. So like, I could know that it's the best thing in the world for the relationship, but it's hard because somebody else may not feel that same way. And the thing is that when we look at a boundary, like a wall, it's extremely harsh. It's very harsh, and it can actually feel like we're rejecting someone. And then when someone makes a boundary towards us, it can feel like rejection again. And we all have the wound of rejection on some level, and even something very, very small can trigger that wound of rejection. And when you know how sensitive it is to be a human being, how much we long to be loved, how much we want to be wanted, it's so hard to give anyone a message that would give them any hint that they could translate as you're not wanted. It's torture. Well, at least for me, it was torture. And it can be very, very torturous. Like, how am I going to tell them this? They're going to feel so bad. I can't. No, I never would. I'm just going to be quiet. Right? It could be so, so hard. Or it can be scary. Maybe I'll put up this boundary and the whole relationship will crash and crumble and I'll be rejected because the other person will be so put off by my boundary. These things are very, very frightening. So we want to learn together today a place of ease, that we're doing a beautiful thing. We're honoring ourselves and the other, and we don't need a wall. We're literally creating a space for the relationship to flourish. So it definitely takes strength. There's no question. There's no question that it takes a lot of strength, and that we need to hold our own hands when we set a boundary. Because when you set a boundary, you are very often venturing into new territory. You're changing the dance of the relationship. It went one way, and now you're changing the dance, and you don't know what's going to happen, right? You don't know what the fallout's going to be. You may be pressing someone's deepest trigger. That may be how Hashem arranges it, that exactly your words are exactly their nightmare words. That could really, really happen. So it takes tefillah, davening to Hashem, purifying our intentions. Sometimes at the beginning, like in the conversation with my daughter and the boss, there can be a lot of tumult and resentment and blame, and not that she was doing anything wrong, but the heart is like, I have to do this because I can't, because it's too much. We feel trapped. And we want to settle down our systems from all of those triggers, really, really clarifying the beautiful, pure intention of, I am precious. This person is precious. This relationship is precious. And here's how we can sustain the relationship. A very good example is simply just, somebody comes, children come over to your house and they're playing. You don't just want to say, time to go home. Maybe you feel like that will be harsh. And then if you don't say it, maybe they'll be overrunning your whole house. You have to say, dear ones, it's time to go home. It's 6 o'clock and we're having dinner. Now, some of us know that we can say that to children. Is it okay to say that to adults? Yes, it is. That means that the next time they could come back again. Dear one, it's 6 o'clock and it's time to go. We're having dinner. And the heart doesn't want to say that. On some level, the heart, I believe, this is what I believe, that there is there's a push-pull, the same way as the candle leaps up towards Hashem, the little flame leaps up, but the wick brings it down. So I feel the same with boundaries, this push-pull, like there's a part of us that wants to leap up and give everything and be godly and give all the time in the world and all the money in the world and all the headspace in the world and be the perfect wife and the perfect sister and the perfect friend, like to give. There certainly is that part. And yet so in a sense, like the boundary is difficult. It's a concealment of our truest ratzon, which is to be united. It's hard. So then we have to attach to the boundary, to the reality, to the limitation of life, that in this physical world, we can't all enmesh. God willing, we will, not enmesh, like reunite at all the levels in the spiritual world. In the physical world, we come back to the boundary to attach to the reality of our limitations. But there's no question that the heart wants to give everything, I think, at least for me, So there's this push-pull of, I know that this is the most beautiful thing, and I know I need to give it over clearly. And that doesn't mean that it's fun. The fun comes that I know that I'm preserving something that's special, right? Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. So let me just think if there is anything else that I want to say about this boundary business over here. I'm going to look at the questions because I didn't. How can we set a boundary if we need to set a boundary with our parents? That is a question that I often get. And the answer is the same, with love and clarity. Mom, I love when you call me, but when it gets harsh and critical, I can't bear it. And our conversation needs to end. Or I need to ask you to redirect the conversation. Or Mom, I love talking to you, but this doesn't feel so good to me. Can you please restate that in a way that just feels more gentle to me, right? Or Mom, I know you're concerned about the kid, about the children, but I need for you to trust me that Hashem gave me them as parents, and I value your advice, and I'm going to ask for it when I need it. Or Dad, it's always lovely when you come over, but only when you're announced, because I just have this house to run, and when it's 8:30 at night, I can't give to you the way that I want to. Please call before you come. It's honor. Honor, 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 honor. When we get scared to set boundaries, one of the things that we're doing is we are making people into children, into babies. We intuit that their youngest self might be hurt. But while you can have compassion for the youngest self, we have to have the kavod for the adult self. So otherwise we end up in codependence with parents, with spouses, and of course they're going to make you feel guilty. For sure. They're going to resist. Yes. That's what people do. When you say, Dad, you can't come, 8:30 at night doesn't work for me. He's going to say, what? I'm your father. I raised you for all these years and I can't just come over to your house. And you're going to say, Dad, thanks for raising me. You were an incredible father and I need to be an incredible mother. And that means, please give me a call. We have to learn to be adults. To be adults, to treat others like adults. And we get scared of that. We get scared of hurting people. But trust me, I know for myself, what would I want more? Would I want more a fake yes or a real no? Whenever someone says no to me, I'm thrilled. I'm like, yes, now I know that's real. Now I know that they could say no to me. Now I know that when I am welcome, I'm really welcome. It's real. What to do with an adult child who is not receptive to boundaries, off the derech, but would just like menschlichkeit when she's living at home. Nothing religious. So exactly what she's asking me, but she doesn't do herself. So when there is a child who is off the derech, that means that they have left a religious lifestyle and they're living in your home. It is always your home. That's your boundary. It's my home. And in my home, there are certain baseline guidelines that I need. I want to give kavod, space to you, dear child, that you need to do this journey. Nothing wrong with doing the journey. You know, sometimes you got to hop off the train to hop back on. That's okay. But I also have to respect my journey. And that means X, Y, Z. And to really talk that out. Now, you might come back from this place of powerlessness and say, but I told them and they don't listen, right? I told them, you think I didn't have that conversation with them? So in that space is this space where you want to build relationship, a relationship where you take the time that is not just telling them, here's what you do and you don't do in front of me, a relationship where you are letting them know in a zillion ways, I love you. And here, here's what's real for me. I love you. I want to know you. I want to know about this journey. I'm not mad at you for this journey. It's hard. It's hard what you're going through. It's hard on me too, for sure. It's hard on both of us. Here's how we can make it easier. You want to build the trust and safety. When someone who you're not safe with says, here's my boundary, it can feel very rejecting. Amanda says, the first time a friend gave me an honest answer unsolicited, wow, it was so incredible. Yeah, it's really incredible. Feels good. How do we deal with someone who has very few boundaries and extremely giving, but then gets frustrated and disappointed when others can't reciprocate on their level, and they don't understand that others don't have the ability to give in the same way as they do? Exactly. Yes. Here I am. I'm so giving. Why don't my friends give to me the way that I give to them? So what our dear friend who feels like this needs to learn is self-love. Sometimes somebody, I have been in this place, has the ability to give so much love, literally gifts, flowers, support, help, phone calls, etc. Why? Because this beautiful heart of theirs is being focused solely on the other. So they make the most fantastic friend, and they're waiting for their friend to be the most fantastic friend. But the learning for them is to be the most fantastic friend to themselves as well, so that the burden is not on other people to come and be that. And when you do that, I will tell you, you find out that you don't have that much to give. It's a pie, one part for Hashem, one part for you, one part for someone else. When you focus solely on the other person and not on yourself, you have endless amounts to give because you're distracting from your own needs. Once you're in your own needs, you find out there's plenty of them. And Hashem wants us to learn to give that to ourselves, to love on ourselves, to not get lost in another. We can be lost in love, but not really lost, What else do we have over here? A couple of questions. Sometimes we feel empty and don't actually know what we need. This is true. Yeah. And is my sound still fuzzy like someone is telling me? Okay. Okay, good. Here, someone says, I work so hard to build up the relationship and don't want the fact that she's upset at me to ruin that. She's asking me to tell her when I'll be back from out of town, but she won't tell me. It's very upsetting. I just want menschlichkeit. I really, really feel for you. When it comes to being a parent, there's a part of this whole system that isn't cut and dry, okay? When you're talking to your neighbor, okay, it's a little more cut and dry. When it comes to being a parent, it's this thing like you really are being godly. Again and again, rachamim, again and again setting the boundary, again and again stating your need, again and again holding your own heart, more mercy, more mercy, more mercy, if at some point you're like, I cannot have mercy, I will send this child out of the house. You can't do that. It's just, you can't do that. Hashem is like pulling you up to be so godly, to keep on working, to find a way to honor yourself and to be in mercy. And sometimes it is helpful to bring in a third party. I just want to say that sometimes the third party can understand much more about what's happening than us because we're in it. And sometimes just time, because kids can't necessarily see their parents. They don't really see us. It takes a lot of years before a child really sees their parents as a person. Okay, one more question and we're going to be winding down. Seems like my boundary, this is how I need to be treated, triggers the tenderest area in the partner. I just point out that he's just accused me. It's in the tone. I feel so deeply depleted. It feels like a vicious cycle. Help. So if there is a vicious cycle with someone who is mistreating you, then like really mistreating you, then you need to stop. You need to take a pause and stop giving yourself to them. Just stop. Stop giving yourself to them. Even if you're in a marriage, you're allowed to take a pause. You're keeping the loyalty. You're keeping the framework of the marriage. It's like how people show up to davening every day, but that doesn't mean your heart is the same every day. You're allowed to take an inner pause in the relationship and say, woo-ha, I keep looking towards this one to fill me. They're not doing it. I'm going to let whatever they do wash over me. And I'm going to start taking care of my own needs for a while. Maybe I'm deficient there. Maybe there's some more healing for me to do on the inside. Do not keep like crying tears of a cycle trying to get something that isn't there. It's not there. Why isn't it there? Every situation is different. But certainly if you set a partner, so this person, you may not be married to them. You may not need to stay with them. You may be drawn to a vicious cycle where people don't meet your needs. It's very, very possible to be drawn into the same drama with the child's hope that maybe this time it will be different, or this is all I deserve. Very possible. Very possible. Okay. We're going to, yes, Miriam. My cousin has a theory that there are 3 things that change a person to their core as an adult. 1, becoming a parent. 2, living in a different country. 3, the death of a spouse or divorce. I thought this was so incredibly profound, possibly for the rebirths that keep occurring for me after each of these that I experienced. Yeah, that is really, really profound, actually. Yeah, really profound. Okay, friends. It is our lucky time where we are heading into our takeaway. Okay. I'm going to cap it off with just an idea / prayer. And that is, Hashem, please show us the beauty in boundaries, that we will not be harsh to one another, that will instead be honoring to ourselves and to the other. You've trained us in this so deeply with Corona. And you want us to understand something about this. And Hashem, I've given this over in the clearest way that I know how, which is, just the basic facts, but the depth of this is so much deeper. So please reveal to each one of your children, especially the ones that are on this call, where to look in their lives to firm up their boundaries and their self-love, to maintain the beauty of their relationships and to trust themselves with what their needs and limitations are, and to allow for others' needs and limitations, please, Hashem. And may this all be an honor to you, that the Jewish people walk strong and proud in love, in radiance. Okay. We are finishing here, my dear friends. I am so happy to spend this day with you. Goodbye, everyone. If you would like, I will wait while you write your takeaways in the chat box, because I'd love to hear your personal takeaways. I think it's great for us all when we just like nail it down into a couple of words. So a couple of words that you want to take with you. Go ahead. Good to see you too, Gail and Amanda. Yes, you have to take very good care of yourself. Very good care of yourself, whoever wrote that. That is especially for you. Extra special care. Miriam Chai says, love each and every person for who they are and don't judge them. Settling into Hashem. Yeah, I love that. Settling in. Hashem's got you. Boundaries are forming the vessels of love. Oh, Kayla, thank you for getting that. Yehudis, accepting of self, others, and whatever Hashem sends our way. Yes, those are words that really fit you, Yehudis. You do that. Parla, honor yourself and the other. Someone says, we had a very big issue with my parents this week, and I'm working so hard on boundaries and feeling safe with them. Thank you for helping me on the journey. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. You have the right to respect and honor yourself and your needs. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is going to create a ripple wave of safety. Boundaries are an internal expression of an outer self. Whoa, I love that. I learned to detach and love and protect myself, to not get sucked into negative behavior. That's awesome. Trust what I have learned and use in everyday conversation with regards to boundaries. You like how I translated your WRT? That was cool. The power of voice. Get clear before expressing needs. Yes. Oh, that's so big. Otherwise, it's just a mess. I have needs that are unique and special to me. Honoring them creates safety in relationships. Whoa, these are gems. These are beautiful diamonds. Diamonds in the crown of Hashem. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And the more we learn this, the more we're going to get to see that every mitzvah is not oppressive. It's not a no, it's a yes. It's yes to you living your sweetest life. It's yes, you are precious. Yes, be modest. Yes, take care of your body. Yes, eat in a way that will nourish you, mind, body, and soul. Yes, have Shabbos. You must rest. It's all yes. Every no is a yes in disguise. That's what Hashem wants us to know, I feel. Okay. Yes is freedom, Gail says. I love it. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Rivka Malka Perlman. Thank you for making me. Oh, you're welcome. Who said that? I'm gonna catch your thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Bye, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm going to turn on some music to enjoy, and you can enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.